A Few Good Men is a legal drama and a pretty good film, but it's known for really one thing.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Searching YouTube, you'll find many memes and clips, but rarely do you see film analysis. They do exist, but are few and far between. Granted, this is not Stanley Kubrick. A Few Good Men is not going to get the endless generations of analysis, over-analysis, and just plain crazy theories invested. Is A Few Good Men banal entertainment? A one-dimensional piece of work unworthy of deeper examination? I don't think so, and I have my theories. This is where I say the alternative theories mentioned within may cause anxiety, rage, and disbelief, but that's why you're here, I hope. And kindly consider leaving a like, share, or subscribe if you enjoy this content. Many feature films and even television dramas have their own nuance. Secret messages and clues are cleverly hidden and tells an untold story about the in-film universe or its characters. If you follow my videos, you'll know I search for a theme. Themes are patterns, things that repeat. They may be lines of dialogue, events, or motifs. Interpreting those patterns is what keeps the fans guessing. After watching A Few Good Men lately, I wondered if its director Rob Reiner put in any hidden themes of his own. There's one about a son trying to live up to the legacy of his father. There's another about the strong picking on the weak. But that's said out loud, so it's not really a hidden theme. So, where do I start looking for a theme that may or may not exist? I start with scenes that are odd, peculiar, or out of place. There may be a break in exposition to subtly spotlight something as more important than it seems. A Few Good Men has both. Let's start when Caffey, Galloway, and Weinberg went over their courtroom strategy. Caffey shares his plan to get Jessup to confess, but when asked how he's going to do it,
I have no idea.
This is where there is a change in tempo, when the topic switches from judicial to
I need my bat. I think better with my bat. Where's my bat?
it cleverly seems to segue to an important clue. Specifically, did Santiago pack his belongings? However, the clue isn't luggage. This takes us to another scene that seems a little out of place. Innocently, it's Weinberg pushing his baby and stroller while he and Caffey discuss the case. Considering the subject matter and tone of the film, it seems superfluous to wheel out an infant to never be seen again. After all, the scene would have been equally effective without. Or would it? Here is where the pieces of the puzzle come together. Weinberg is holding what is the most dear and important in his life. His baby daughter defines him, at least cinematically. If you go back and watch again, the first thing Sam Weinberg talks about is his baby. Does this apply to Caffey? Caffey is introduced gripping his softball bat. He holds his bat throughout the film like a teddy bear. He enjoys softball more than being an attorney. That bat defines him. He's practically useless without it. Caffey thought his day job was little more than a side gig. The bat represented his tool of choice, not the proverbial pen that he seems to do without. His lackadaisical approach to practicing law was ironically the reason he was chosen in the first place. By taking his career most seriously in the end, he completes his character arc.
I'm a lawyer and an officer in the United States Navy.
But maybe you think it's a coincidence. Let's look at Colonel Jessup, who in the courtroom makes his entrance prominently holding his cap. The cap represents his power and his supposed infallibility. Jessup is a proud Marine, true, but he's most proud of himself, and his cap is a display of his hubris. Greater the pride, the harder the fall. Like his career, his cap falls and we are shown him reclaiming it. What is also curious is what Jessup holds in his hands in the beginning of the film. He holds Santiago's intercepted letter. In some ways, the ideas written represent everything Jessup disdains. It also represents the truth Jessup conspires to bury. The letter may be the one thing Jessup is not proud of. It is the source of his undoing because he does not want to hide from anyone. Caffey knew this.
I think he wants to say that he made a command decision and that's the end of it.
Markinson, on the other hand, refuses the letter. He practically tosses it back into Jessup's metaphoric lap. Unlike Jessup, who absorbed its words and it filled him with fury, Markinson took a softer approach, looking to avoid conflict. Like Caffey, you can judge a character by what they don't hold. Markinson was a proud Marine too. Rather than hubris, he carried guilt. We're shown a montage of him holding tight the many symbols of being a Marine. These were symbols of virtues that he believed in, but ultimately could not live up to. Does this work with Jack Ross? His hands are mostly free until he's seen with a basketball, but he quickly tosses it away when it's time to talk shop. Compare him to Caffey, who does not stop playing his favorite sport when it comes to discussing work. Luther, the newspaper stand guy, well, he's always holding Caffey's money. The cinematographic decision to focus on hands holding objects is revealed early, very early during the opening credits. It's everywhere. One could argue this is coincidental B-roll footage, but close-ups are deliberate and an indication of where the director wanted to go with the theme. This takes us to Lieutenant Commander Galloway. After watching the film and spotting each major character's favorite thing to hold, I didn't spot something that stood out with Galloway. At first, she's seen holding a briefcase, her cap, a phone, and a trash can. They were too underwhelming for her. So I scoured the video for an overlooked extreme close-up of her hands. Then, I found it. Galloway, when having seafood dinner with Caffey, is seen cracking crab with a hammer. It's barely a second, but describes her personality to the T. Her technique is brutal, and she's not shy with a knife either. Caffey, while is seen briefly holding a hammer, he chooses not to use it. This is parallel to their differences in legal approach. Caffey is more careful and tentative. Galloway is willing to break some eggs to make an omelet, or in this case, willing to break a leg to win the case. This personality test may be one reason that Galloway was passed up taking the lead on the case, especially if the powers above wanted a quiet plea bargain deal. Having someone asking too many questions and armed with legal tools would be the last person they would want. Let me know in the comments below if you think A Few Good Men is a more thought-out movie than it's given credit for. And check out my main channel, link in the description below. This is Mr. G of Synergy. Thanks for watching.